Hey guys, this is going to be my first Druid build, a Druid farming build which you will need on day 1 of becoming a Druid class. As you can see, I have 100% uptime on the Werewolf farm and hence this is a Fire Werewolf Druid farming build. This build has so much speed and damage, I believe it has the potential of becoming the fastest farming Druid build that you will see in the game. Now I understand as day 1 Druid you won't have all the essences, hence I will give you a couple of options in this particular farming build so that whatever essences that you get you are able to make this build work. So without wasting any more time, let's get directly into the build. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about in this build is the Werewolf form because that is the center of this particular build. I do recommend you to check out my previous video where I describe how the Werewolf actually works, but still I'll point it out here what I actually mean. So when you transform to the Werewolf, your primal energy continuously depletes. Like you can see, it is continuously depleting, right? So what you need is a way to continuously increasing the primal energy, primal power, primal energy. That way you can stay in the Werewolf form and deal incredible damage and move extremely swiftly, right? Like you can see, my Werewolf primal energy got depleted and it reverted back to my original form. Hence, we need to prevent this. And once you are able to do that, this build is going to blast everything in the open world and even in Terror Rifts. First things first, in the Werewolf form, it says, the skill says basically, in the Werewolf form, you consume 5 primal power per second. And how much primal power you have in your Druid class? There's 100. So in Werewolf form, you can stay in Werewolf form for 20 seconds basically, right? That's the maths, right? So for 20 seconds, you will have no problem. But to increase this duration, what you can do is reduce the consumption of primal power. Number 1. And number 2, you can use a skill that basically gives you back the primal power, like it generates primal power, right? So that is what we are going to do right now. Let's check out the essences. Now with the new essence, with the view feature, you can totally take a look at this build, but here the names of the essences are still not present. So what I'll do is, again, I'll go to the essence vendor. From here, we're going to check out the names of the essence as well. So the key to maintaining your primal power for a long time is this particular shoulder. While a werewolf generates 3 primal power for each enemy killed, can trigger once every 1 second. So every 1 second as a werewolf, you are depleting 5 and you are generating 3. So your cost becomes 2 primal power. So increasing your total duration from basically 20 seconds to, let me do a quick maths.
A few moments later.
50 seconds. Yeah, that took me a lot of time. Anyway, this essence is basically going to reduce the primal power usage. So moving on, we have more essences for the werewolf. In the pants, we have Rend and Tear, increases your critical hit chance of primary attacks by 15%. Actually, in the pants, you have a lot of essences. Basically, if you go to Rend and Tear, it can be also increased by 25%, but it will consume more primal power, right? And I do not recommend using this particular pants. What you need to do is get this pant. This has critical hit chance, and this is by the way, at mastery level 1. Right? Keep in mind, all of these is at mastery level 1. Anyway, so this is the pants, and now a very important offhand. This is going to be Rend and Tear, causes you to dash forward and strike, and if the attack hits, it activates a powerful follow-up attack that sweeps in a wider arc. So what does this mean is, Rend and Tear is going to be your bread and butter. It is going to be the main skill. It is going to be a dash that does damage as well. So when you convert into a wolf, the first skill that you see here, this is Rend and Tear. And usually it's just a single dash, but now when I'm going to hit the enemy and I'm going to activate it again, you can see there is another, you get a second charge on one Rend and Tear, right? So it has 3 charges, but using this particular essence in the offhand, you get 6 attacks, 1 dash and 1 big blow, 1 dash and 1 big blow. So this is going to be very, very important. So in the werewolf form, we are going to use the Rend and Tear, and also we are going to use the primary attack. So we shift into werewolf, we go Rend and Tear, we use the second attack, and then we use the primary attack. And this is going to basically ensure that all the enemies are going to die and you are going to recover primal energy non-stop. So moving on, For Werewolf, there's another essence in the main hand, but I will talk about it after a while. First, I want to talk about the next important essence in this particular build, and it is the Fire Tornado Helmet essence. This is the best Fire Tornado in my opinion. What it does is whenever you do a primary attack and you critically hit an enemy, you are going to release this Fire Tornado automatically. And remember, on the pants, you are already increasing your critical hit chance of primary attack, right? And that's why we are using the Fire Tornado here. I'll show you how it works, and now I'll also show you another essence. Werewolf makes you a fire werewolf, this particular essence, and whenever you critically hit an enemy, it is going to cause an explosion of flame. So what is happening here? When you critically hit, you are going to do an explosion of flame from this main hand, and the helmet is also going to do a fire tornado. So one critical hit from primary attack is going to automatically passively trigger 2 more fire bursts, and hence this build is called the Fire Werewolf build. And that is all the essence you need to make this build actually work. The other essences are complementary essences. Yes guys, so 1, 2, 3, these are the 3 main, and then these 2 also, right? So let me show you how this fire tornado works and how this flaming things work. So once you shift into werewolf, you shift, and I'm hoping, so here I need some enemies here, so boom, you see there's a circle coming out, right? You see these circles? Yeah, this is basically fire tornado. All right, so fire tornado automatically happens when you do primary attack, critical hit damage, and that is going to be very important because you are going to kill much faster. Only 2 skills and this build is working, but now I'll show you a variant, because in case you don't get this werewolf, instead of the werewolf you leave the werewolf. There's another very important fire tornado essence here. Fire tornado generates additional 1 primary power per enemy hit up to 10. So huge primary power build up from this particular essence. So in this one you are still going to generate a lot of primary power, so your werewolf is going to be very fast, right? It is always going to be in werewolf form, because you will be generating a lot of primary power. The more enemies are hit by this flame, the more primary power you generate. So this is going to be an alternative essence. This is the only alternative version that I'm showing you, and this is going to be very useful, trust me. So yeah, this particular main hand is also going to be very important. Either you use this or you use the flamethrower, the flame. So my personal favorite is definitely going to be the werewolf with the fire one. But if you find problem with maintaining primal power, you can switch to the fire tornado, right? So this is the whole build. Now I'll show you something extra. Now we have 2 more slots for the skills, and what we are going to do is we are going to use ravens. This is the best transport build, or dash build or movement build, and the other one is thorn armor. So what are these is, these also have synergy with fire damage. So we are going to use the armor. Thorn armor basically is going to blast whenever it touches burning enemy, and also it is going to be traveling with you. So in action it looks like this, right? So even in case you are out of your druid form, right, and you return back to your original self, you are going to activate this particular thing, and you are going to do the dash, and everyone is going to die. I need some opponents here. Let me check how this is show you. Yeah, so switch this on, boom, switch this on. Look at this fire damage, insane. This particular essence is actually very crazy in my opinion, right? Look at this, you just dash and do the primary attack. So yeah, this particular the Vine's shield is also very good, this particular chest essence. And now we are going to look at our main hand, the offhand for our primary attack. For the primary attack, there is not much option here right now, so we are going to use what we have. Ferocious Strike generates an additional 5 primal power. So yeah, you are going to have so much ways to generate primal power in this build, and you are going to use all of this in werewolf form. And finally, Raven Storm dashes forward in a flock of ravens. So I really like this particular, this makes Raven immediately make you dash. So I really like this particular movement ability. And you want your Ravens not to hit the enemy, because in that way your Raven is going to get a lower cooldown. Yeah, this is what it says. So if you do not hit the enemy, you actually get less cooldown. Like if no enemies are hit, 30% of your cooldown is returned. So yeah. Finally, now covering the set items, definitely go with 4 pieces of gloom. You need the crit, or this is a very crit heavy build. You need the crit that is going to give you big burst damage, is also going to recover all the primal power. So 4 pieces of gloom glide, 2 pieces of banquet, there's fire, there's bleed, and also there's going to be 2 pieces of shell bass. There's a very good focus on primary attack. Oh, and by the way, in your werewolf, yeah, this particular primary attack of werewolf is considered the same as primary attack of this particular your base form. So all the buffs work for both the forms. And now finally, to step up this your farming build to a godly tier, what you need is, where is it? Yeah, Eternal FX. Raven Swarm generates additional 3 primary power when used. Right now I have 4 out of 4. So I have 12 primal power used, and generally it is going to recover 6 primal power when I'm going to use ravens. And hence, whenever I am out of primal power, when I am in this werewolf form, I am just going to shift into normal form. I'll do 2 dashes and my primal power is going to come back. Everything is going to come back. So yeah, I'm going to make a complete video on eternal affixes. I have tested all the eternal affixes, so make sure you check that video as well. This particular eternal affix is good, and also the godly tier eternal affix I'm going to talk about in the separate video, but I'll just show you because it is relevant. Fire tornado range increase. So yeah, these 2 eternal effects is going to make this build in a godly tier. So yeah guys, that is the build for first day farming build. In fact, I think this is going to be the fastest farming build in the game. So hope you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. There's going to be more builds coming very soon. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.